Hello and welcome to a new video on my channel. This weekend I made it to the top 16 of the Disney Lorcana European Championship. Today I want to talk about my run in this tournament and talk through all the matchups I had. Some of the decks in this video are not 100% correct because I couldn't find some of my opponent's decks. But first of all, let's talk about my deck, Emerald Steel. So I didn't change much in the deck. I just did some few one-offs. For example, the Calhoun, which I think performed really well against those aggro matchups I had, and because I just played her one time, I didn't see her most likely in those other matchups where she is not that useful. I put the Hidden Cove on 3. I know the Hidden Cove should be put on 4, especially against those red decks. But the thing is, I just wanted to make some space for the Tinkerbells and for my other one-offs I had here. Here you can also see I just played 3 Hypnotize because I just had the feeling I will play a lot against those fast decks where I don't have time to play a Hypnotize out or a Prince John. But me personally, I think Prince John always has to be set on 4 because it's a really important card in your deck. And if you get into the discard engine in this deck, Prince John draws you a ton of cards, which is really important in this deck because you have your Diablo, you have the Beast, and now you have a third option to draw cards with the Prince John. And of course, to let the Storm Rage on when you sing it twice with Ursula. Also, which was really amazing in my matchups against those hyper aggro decks, were the Muses. The Muses did really well here. Most of the time when I played them, they were way too slow, but at this Saturday they really performed and really did their job and bounced a lot of cards back to their hand. And also the Tinkerbell made a lot of pressure against those green purple decks. And yeah, all in all, I can say when I inked my Beast, for example, and had a morph out, my opponents were a bit confused, thought I will play another Beast out, and after I played the Tinkerbell out, they knew, okay, he's playing the list with Tinkerbell, and were a bit surprised, because I don't think I saw many lists with the Tinkerbell in. And which is also really interesting is that I put the Ursula in 4 because I thought I will get some Steel Songs in my matchups, but I didn't get any of them. Still, the Ursula hit 3 out of 4 times when I played her out. So that was kind of funny because most of the new green purple lists aren't even playing friends on the other side. But against those that I played against, they played it and they had it most of the time in their hand. Also, which I can say is that the Pete is really good against those red-blue matchups and against those Ruby Amethyst matchups. If you have him out, they can't brawl your Diablo, for example. They can't brawl your Ursula. And for ramping, they are also not allowing the opponent to play I don't know, on turn 4 or 5 Asteroid C or something in this direction. So you're stopping them from ramping and destroying your board. So all in all, that's my list. I didn't change it up too much because I'm still going hard on that discard engine. I wouldn't change much at all at this deck. I think it played very smoothly and I would recommend it to try it out for yourself. For now, the Ruby Amethyst, if the meta goes into this way, I would consider playing 4 Hypnotize again. If the meta goes slower again, you can go for those 4 Hypnotize, 4 Hidden Coves again. Remove the Calhoun. Remove 1 Tinkerbell just to get those more discard value in your deck. So yeah, that's my list. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me down in the comments. And let's go to the next deck. So my first 2 matchups were against red-blue, which isn't the best thing to start with this deck. I think both of my opponents played a very similar list here. I just have the list of the second one here. It's from William Chong. I talked to him afterwards a bit about our 2 matchups because it was really funny. I got for lucky me, I got both Hidden Coves and both Diablos in turn 2 out. So it was like really, really amazing for me. Like in the first game, I had like the Diablo shifted to Hidden Cove. In the second game, I had like the Hidden Cove, and I also had like a morph, so I could like in the third turn I had double shifted my Diablo and went all in. Still wasn't able to secure that 2-0 against that deck. I went 1-1 with each of both decks, like each in the first round and the second round. As you can see, like a lot of problems here are like, for example, the Sisu, the Broads, the Be Prepared. All these things are like easily removing my Diablos when they are not in the cove, especially with those ice blocks. If you get to the ice block on turn 1, your hidden cove is also not that useful at the start. Yeah, of course, the Mech Dark Mana also like does a lot of against you because you don't have the characters that do much damage. For example, in this matchup, the Calhoun was also, I have to say, really useful because I was able to remove one location at least before losing that second game. But yeah, I didn't lose to the location I lost because it's just the ramp actions and so on, like really amazing. Also that one of Goofy and the one off of Pirate's Life is like a really good idea, I think. So yeah, that was my first two matchups. Red Blue went 1-1 against each other, so it didn't really start too well for me, but it changed in the next few games. So the next deck I played against was Emerald Amethyst, which is interesting here because he plays the Enchantress, and while being challenged, this character gets +2 attack. So also I was also a bit scared because it was not an open deck list of the Shift Prince Philip. Maybe he played it, I didn't knew it. I just like had it in my head, so he could be able to play it. He also inked a lot in his turn, so I was always trying to like not attack with my characters into them, or like if I remove a character, that also my character gets removed. Here you can see 2 Chunderbox followers, 4 Cursed Merfolks, 4 Diablos, 4 Enchantress, 4 Go-Go Tamago, 4 Ursulas, 4 Kid Cloudkicker. I mean, Kid Cloudkicker is like one of the best cards against my deck, because if I just play the Ursula, he can just like bounce it back. And if I play it again and he has a second Kid Cloudkicker in his hand, I'm like completely lost, to be honest, because he's just taking so much tempo off of you, and he's like while gaining tempo, he's just like questing and just he's not removing your characters, but he's like putting them back to your hand, so you have to play them out again, and that's like really stressful if you play against such a aggro deck. He plays also 4 Madam and Fox, 4 Merlins, 4 Prince Philip, 4 times of the White Rose, which is like the second goat in this deck. He plays 4 Genies. I think that's the MVP of the whole tournament here. 4 Goats, 4 Elsa Spirit, 2 Ursulas, and 4 Friends on the other side. So what did I do and why did I do it? For example, if he quests with the Ursula, the 2 costs, I'm always attacking it because I am scared of that Sea Witch Queen Ursula. It's like doing a lot of harm in my deck, especially if I want to play the Ursula line myself, the 3 cost Ursula. And I also tried, like, for example, the Enchantress, to remove it with spells, like with songs, for example, with Let the Storm Rage On. Same goes for the Cursed Merfolk. I tried to like remove his card draw engine on Chunderbox Follow, so sometimes I just went into it just so he doesn't draw any more cards. The Genie and the Elsa were like pretty scary for my Diablo, but lucky me, I had the Hidden Cove and it was not removed by the Madam Mim or the Merlin. So I was pretty happy about that. But all in all, I went 2-0 in this match, and it was like I played it out really clean, especially with that Calhoun, and especially with that Tinkerbell that does a lot of pressure against my opponent. So all in all, this matchup wasn't as scary as I thought. I was thinking it could be even worse, but I think I did pretty well, and let's go to the next matchup. So the next matchup was against Hans Swede. It's not the exact list he played against me, but it goes into this direction, into playing Alice, into the Pluto, and then into the Cogsworth. I think he also played them all 4 times, so it was like his main line in this deck. I also think he played the mana here, the location that has like 9 health and quest for 2, same as the red-blue player here. So I think he also played like the 1-cost Mickey that has like resist, and the first game looked pretty good for me. I had the Diablo out with the Cove, and I was slowly like removing characters with the Ursula, with also, for example, the Peter that could stay for like a turn, and so on and so on. And the second game was like really tough, because I think he went first. Well, no, I went first, but I didn't had any 1-drops. So after drawing like second turn, I also didn't have a 2-drop. I just had the Sudden Chill, so I just hard casted it. And then the third turn, I hard casted Hypnotize, draw a card, so I had no characters on board. So my opponent here also had like not the best start. He played the Mania Art, but then I got like the cards I needed to get back into the game. For example, I got the Calhoun, I got the Muses. The good thing is he played Pete on turn 3, and I played the Muses on turn 4, and was able to like, he also had a Smee out, so I was able to sing with the Muses, remove the Smee, bounce the Mickey from the 1-cost Mickey back, and was able to like clear the board. And at the end I played like out 2 Diablos, and he was able to remove one of them, and the other one sticked in, and that's most likely how I won the game. So the other Diablo played there, and I also had like a Prince John, so I was able to remove all his cards in his hand. I drew a lot of Sudden Chills, I drew a lot of Hypnotize, I drew a lot of cards that like discard his hand, and that I was able to turn around the second game and won also the second game and went 2-0 in this deck. Was a pretty lucky, to be honest. I was also pretty happy to win against that match, because it's not an easy matchup, and you like have to be quite lucky that the opponent doesn't get the Alice or the Pluto or the Cogsworth together, because if this if this line hits, you like you have no chance to remove his characters. Especially because the Alice, whenever this character quests, chosen character of yours gets +1 lore and gains world until the start of the next turn. It's like, if this card quests for once and like gives the Pluto ward, and then you play the Cogsworth, it's like really hard to remove that board if you don't have any red cards in your deck. So yeah, thanks for that game, Holland. I appreciate it a lot, and maybe we'll see each other in the next tournament. In the next game I played against Green Purple again. It was not like a specialist, there were no surprises for me there. All in all, I think it played similar to that list before, because he also played the Ursula, the 7-cost Ursula. I just took this list as a reference. So in the first game I also again got the Diablo into the Hidden Cove and was able to draw a lot of cards. I was able to like get the Ursula out and like stick it for 1 turn. There was no Kid Cloud Kicker in my opponent's hand, so I was lucky for that. He played a lot of with the Genie and with the Elsa. He also played he made a lot of pressure with his Go Tomago on both games. He played her out on turn 2 just to like be able to remove my Diablo, and also with the 1-cost Cursed Malfolk he was able to like bounce her, play the Madam Mim, and like remove the Cove with Madam Mim and Go Tomago. So I was happy that this didn't happen in the first game. Won that first game, and in the second game I was able to like play the morph out and inked my beast. He was like thinking, okay, what's happening here? Played turn 4 and played the Tinkerbell. Before this turn he played the Ursula to see what I have in my hand, saw the Tinkerbell, and I saw like I have like a pretty good chance because he had like Cursed Merfolk on the field and the Go-Go Tomago. So I was really able to, in turn 4, to play out a really big character, which is really hard to remove for him in the first game. And just let it there. Don't quest with it, don't attack it with it, just like let it there and wait for your opponent to play some cards, go quest or something, and just let that Tinkerbell stick there. So he was just able to quest with his evasive characters, and I was able to like next turn play the Ursula, the 3-cost Ursula, and like slowly remove his board. At the end it was like really close because he has like, if he quests in the next turn, comes to 19 lore, and he had like two cards in his hand. Both of those cards were draws. For example, the Merlin and the Genie, both of those cards could draw him. He had like 8 ink left, so he could play one, get the gold and win. But this eventually didn't happen. And the second thing is he also had like a bounce in his hand, so he was able to bounce his kid Cloud Kicker, play it out again to bounce one of my cards. Because the thing is, I was also 19 lore, so the next thing I had to play had to stick on the board. And I just top decked the Prince John and was able to secure the 2-0 against him. So this was a pretty lucky game. The Prince John stick there for one turn. My opponent didn't get any goats out, so he went on 19 and the Prince John secured the win in the second game. So the next one is here with my friend in Austria. We made it both to the table 1. This was really amazing for both of us. He played Ruby Amethyst, made it to the top 8 at the end. So he secured his gold. Mickey, congrats to him. And yeah, of course we drew because we also were like already in that spot to be in the top 16. And the next game I had was also would have been a mirror match, but we also said we will draw and like split, because first of all we both don't want to risk to lose at the end and like to get dropped off out of the top 16, and second of all it was a mirror match, so you know, it's like really a gamble here, because whoever gets the Diablo out first and whoever sticks it first on the board wins the game. And I mean, if I see his list now, I would have had like a pretty good matchup, because I had the Muses, which were really important for that mirror match. He didn't play any Muses, he played 4 Tinkerbells. So if I was able to remove the Morph on the second turn, his deck was really slow. So all in that, I think I could have had good chances against this deck, especially because of the 2 Muses. But I'm also really happy that we both split and both made it to the top 16 at the end. So yeah, congrats to him. And yeah, on day 2, as you can see, my first opponent was the Domingo, the first place, who made it like the European champion now. His list was pretty amazing. He also like, I had like a really good hand. Like I had the Diablo, I had the Hidden Cove. I also had like a second Diablo. I also had like a Morph, a Ursula, but he removed everything. And it was, if I mean everything, he removed really everything. It was removing my Cove with the Madame Mim Fox and the Madame Mim Snake. Then removed my Diablo with the Brawl. Then removed my second Diablo with a Brawl, and so on. So my characters didn't stick on the board for too long, so he was always able to remove them somehow. But I'm still happy. I didn't lost against someone who like lost one round later. So I really lost against the first one. It's not that bad. Of course I wanted to go to the Worlds, but maybe next time. And yeah, that was my run on the top 16 of the Lorcana European Championship. I hope you guys liked the video. And yeah, see you guys soon. Bye.